Hello everybody and welcome to the Banner Saga 2, a game released today on the 18th of April, and it's developed by Stoic and published by Versus Evil, and I played already the first part of it and it was fantastic. The story, the drawings, everything was really nice, so I was very happy to read that there's a second part coming out, and I of course want to share that one with you. For those of you who played already the first part, you will recognize this guy immediately, as well as this one, and most likely also her. But I don't want to take away too much from the story, or from the previous story, I have to say. Let's have a look at the recap, so everybody gets to know what actually happened before.
When the sun stopped in the sky, life continued as normal. Then the stone-armored dredge reappeared, ancient foes from the far northern reaches, and the world was thrown into chaos. Giant Varl defenders were slaughtered, their strongholds destroyed. Now Hakon is the Varl king and protects who is left of his race. Rook, a humble hunter and father of Alet, found himself leading frightened clansmen towards safety. His caravan crossed paths with Juno and Eyvind, two of the mysterious spellweavers known as Menders, who know something about the massive mountain-breaking serpent on the loose. In Borsgard, a town under the protection of the mercenary leader Bolverk, both Varl and human stood against a dredge general, the immortal Sunder, known as Bellower. Juno devised a way to stop Bellower, but it cost the life of one held dear. The saga continues.
Well, and that seems like that was the recap. So everybody's up to date what happened before, and if you really want to experience the story, I highly recommend to play the first part as well. But let's see what the second part brings us. And you can choose here because, well, I don't want to take it away. It would be a spoiler, but you can choose between these two, and you have to basically, and I'm going to choose Rook in this case. And, well, basically you shouldn't read that, I'm clicking around because this is already spoiling. If you want to play the first part, read it. But then I can also tell it, because you have to choose who is going to die of these two at the end of the first part. And here we have overcome with grief from the death of his daughter at the Battle of Borsgard. Rook, a skilled hunter and proven leader, wonders why anyone would still follow his lead. With the help of a lifelong friend, the giant Varl Ivar, perhaps he can change the tragic pattern of losing those who depend on him and ensure the caravan's safety on the long journey to the human capital Arvarang. Or we can choose for Alet. Since tragic events in Borsgard, the families of the caravan look to Alet, daughter of Rook, the former leader, to guide them. Though young, her compassion for others and ability with the bow have impressed all but the most stubborn clan leaders. Calling on a personal resolve and lifetime friendship with the archer Oddleaf and the massive Varl Ivar, Alet must continue her father's work of seeing the caravan to safety of the distant capital city Arvarang. And as said, I'm going for Rook.
Tíminn líður áfram, eins og straumþung á sem fleytir okkur áfram. Time continues washing over us, moment after moment, like waves on a coast. Some more fierce, more violent than others. So few of my kind, the giant war, remain alive. Even so, I find myself wondering if humans, while able to bear children, suffer more for the loss of loved ones. Several weeks have passed since we slew the Sunder known as Bellower, but the chaos of the world did not wither as we hoped. The world is breaking. We sail aboard hastily crafted ships for the safety of Arberain, the human capital. But the river curses us with a clear view of the dreads assaulting another hopeless village.
Well, apparently it doesn't look good for mankind. The enemies are approaching everywhere, killing everybody, and we are not really able to stop them. Seems like we're giving it a try somehow. And here you can see, okay, move away from these glowing rocks, and this one's mine. Well, they didn't listen. You want them? No, no! To the depth with you! Well, that for sure was a good attack. And this is Rook. Keep killing them! And our Vals are coming in as well. Damn it, Rook! Quit running ahead! Well, drag around screen to check. So over there we have the initiative list. Or who's attacking next, and obviously next one is going to be Ivor. And while I know how to move, I can explain that as well. We can move within this area, within the blue, without using up these yellow marks here, the willpower. If we go out of there, we need additional willpower that we spent there. And we also need it actually to strengthen our attacks, but that will come a little bit later. And as you can see, the Vals are a little bit taller than humans, therefore need bigger space, or more space, they need 4 squares. And now, well, let's just do as they say, we're moving in here. You always need to confirm after moving. Over here you can see 2 parts. The blue one is the armor of the enemy, while the red one is the remaining health. And, well, we would deal 8 damage. The damage is calculated by our strength minus the armor of the enemy. And as you can see on the bottom left, we have 12 strength at the moment. And we are just going with the regular attack. Yeah, well, here they basically explain what I just said. Okay, let's attack. We can, and here you can see we could enhance our attacks if necessary, but at the moment with 8 damage to 7 health he has left. Obvious choice, we just knock him out. And we get Renown. Renown is basically how you level up, and you only level up when you kill someone. At least it was in the last round like that, so maybe it has changed, but I doubt it. Because it's a very interesting way of dealing with things. So, and apparently you can start smashing objects. That is something new. It hasn't happened before, that was not available at that point, so that seems like it's getting more interesting. And here comes the explanation with willpower. That's fine, we are just moving out there, and he loses 2 out of his 6 willpower. There's 1 left. And we have special abilities over here. And just like that, and we can basically hit it around us with his attack. And why not just going right away for him? Yeah, I know. Thank you. Well, we couldn't do the special attack. There they explain that if you are a Val and you hit very hard, the adjacent enemy will also take damage. That's because there are some kind of puppets which are very easily affected by, well, damage next to the enemy. Here it is actually said. And now it's pillage mode. Pillage mode means basically that everybody's attacking one after another, not as before with with the initiative list. Now actually, let me try to rephrase that a little. It used to be that when you start the fighting, it's one time you, one time the enemy, one time you, one time the enemy, until there's only one enemy left, or one of you guys, and then everybody attacks once. So what do we have? Looks like the Dredge is in some trouble. Willpower and attack. go. Let's go for full willpower and knock him out. Yes, we knock him out. Not finished. Okay. Rook has a different opinion on what he wants to do. Well, he's continued to charging in on quite a lot of enemies. I'm not very keen of that, actually. Well, and it seems like we are now in charge. And there are just a few enemies. Let's move behind him. Normally it does make a big difference if you're behind on the side of them. And now, if we would attack, we wouldn't make any kind of damage, because his... Well, yeah, we would make a little bit of damage, 1. But as you can see, that's not really worth it. If you reduce the enemy's armor, though, next round he would cause a lot more damage. But of course, this is kind of suicide to get in here. Also, you should, from time to time, check which enemies are moving us next, so you can adjust your movement accordingly. And still, yeah, the next thing is, you need to have the strength on maximum, or, well, your strength is reduced by enemies' attacks. So, when you lose strength, when you're getting attacked, you also cause less damage. Now, the enemy could have deflected the damage that we caused, because, well, we would not even break the armor anymore. Let's just go ahead. I think we have to lose that fight anyhow. I also don't know why it is not in the pillage mode that all the enemies are moving. Maybe just because for the story. A final blow directed at your head is deflected and a giant horn slams into the dredge surrounding you. Eva pulls you to your feet and away from combat as other fighters from a caravan rush in to finish off the enemy. Well, pretty lucky for Rook here. Iva moves you past a crowd of worried villagers, ensuring you can stand on your own. I don't know what you were. He stops speaking as the village chieftain approaches. A Var leader saving a human village from those things. Legends are made of much less. No Var leader, just Iva. Those things were dredge, like the stories you probably heard as kids. And it was Rook here who ordered us to stop. Forgive me, maybe it's this never setting sun, or dredge, or the death of so many of my clansmen. I'm not myself. The man's eyes appraise you, and he quickly nods. I am Aleo, the Skald. Were you trying to drive the dredge all the way back north by yourself? Well, no, this is basically how the game works. You are answering some of these questions, and you can choose, and by that you're affecting the storyline. And that might have a very dramatic effect on who is going to survive, and, well, basically on everything in the whole story. Well, I remain silent, because I think that fits in here. Scout looks back and forth between you and Iva, unsure on how to proceed. So, Iva, we heard rumors about Sander Bellover sacking Borsgard. More than rumor, but he's been dealt with. But by your clan? Your Thunder Slayers? The term makes Iva wince and ends Aleo's excitement. But what about the deep shaking of the ground? Only yesterday we felt rumble like none before. Well, I still remain silent because I don't want to scare him off with the giant serpent. Iva looks at you expectantly, then sags 6? I don't know how that is pronounced. All these questions. I'm being rude. Please join us. Let us feast in your honor. No time for that. We should be going. Nonsense. You've just arrived and defended us. Don't insult us by leaving before we thank you properly. I meant all of us should be going. You people too. Not to sound ungrateful, but this place, it's all we have. It's our home. Don't be stupid. More dredge are coming. Wanting to defend what's you isn't stupid. You know that. I know this village lost fighters today, so they have less of a chance defending themselves tomorrow. Rook is right. I hope the defeat here today would keep the dredge away, but when voiced, the Skull looks around at the small huts of his village. Borsgard is the only other place I've seen in my life. This small village is all my family knows. things really as tragic as you're making them sound? Probably worse. Aleo looks back and forth between you and Ivar before nodding. Packing and tending to all that will take some time, but I'll have everyone on the ship soon. Aleo heads off to the village to organize supplies. That's nice, supplies are very important in this game. The world breaking. Dredge mothers fighting alongside warriors. A giant serpent, not sure what to make of it all. Ivar, one of the giants known as Val, has fought Dredge in the Northern Winters, personally killed Sandra Reis, and lost an arm to Sandra Belova. He has been by your side through everything, including the death of your daughter. Now you feel the weight of his full attention. What you pulled out there, fighting the Dredge alone, was that tied to a lead at all? Well, they'll pay for taking her from me. Don't mention her name. I'm trying my best to hold it all together. The villagers could probably use your strength. Yeah, I think that's fitting. I don't want to be aggressive to him because he's our friend. Our lifelong friend, so let's be like that. Listen, I don't know what's in your head right now, but your dying won't bring your daughter back. You clench your jaw and look away. These people need you now more than they know. Their lives depend on your decisions. He walks towards the village, leaving you alone with your thoughts. Chapter 8. From their homes must all flee. Well, we're just continuing basically the story from the first part. I'm sorry that I didn't record that. And there you see, you would always lose supplies on a daily basis. The days pass by around here and we are on day 1 with this. And, well, you also lose morale over time. But anyhow, now we are with this guy. This traveling, merchants are surprisingly well stocked. Ubin, the old Baal, the dubbed scrivener, says, since Borsgard our numbers have grown, people have scavenged for food and eaten it too. Regardless, we'll need plenty of supplies considering our destination. Where can I find the merchants? Yeah, what kind of supplies do we need? Stuff like food and meat for the trip. The merchants have got a few interesting items as well, but folks can't eat those in mean times. You'll have to choose wisely, even your renown will only stretch so far. Where can I find the merchants? You can't miss them, he says. Like a group of tents they call a market. Thanks, Ubin. Of course, he says. Oh, I almost forgot. There's something ruffling the feathers of the ravens, the mercenaries who followed us from Borsgard. Chat with the leader, Bolvak, but be careful. He's not like other Var. Well, there we go. This medallion gives the information about caravan, including population and supplies and renown and the number of days that have passed. Renown is the value of the currency basically we're using. And here we have the days that we have supplies for. The market, they ask us to get there anyhow. And, well, he can see various things. Well, I can explain that as well, thank you. Well, we can add supplies over here. They are adding up by 5, and as you can see, it costs us renown. For 1 renown, we get 5. It is different from each vendor, though. And he has total availability of 50. Over there, you can also see how many days we would survive with that. And apparently we need to get 15 supplies. And we can also get various items. They also cost renown. So let's have a look. Markets also have items available, thank you. And we can exit. Let's take a look what they can do. 1 strength, 2 strength. Oh, 1 strength talent ranks, 2 strength, knockback on strength, attacks of 3. That we can't afford anyhow, but probably would be something nice. We can't sell stuff though. 3 all talent ranks, 1 strength attack, 1 breaking, I assume it is. Protects from death until unless strength is 1. That actually could be very helpful. Plus 2 strength, plus 25% 2 times strength damage. I actually think I want that. And you can see already the different coloring indicates the strength of the items. While green being the weakest, going over blue to purple to orange. And 2 arm talent ranks and 3 arm. I think I'm going to get that one. It costs us a lot of renown. but I think that really could help us to knock people out. Let's talk with her. That's Odd Life, the one that was mentioned in the description of a Let's storyline. Odd Life, your former chieftain's widow, is demonstrating fletching an arrow to a few people as you approach. Give us a moment, will you? The group walks away as Odd Life stands and wipes loose feathers from her tunic. I doubt you're here to explain your actions with the dredge. Do I need to? She looks at you in silence for a moment before clearing her throat. I wanted to discuss the clansmen. They're good at scavenging for food while we travel, but we could always use more fighters. But trading them takes time. I'm not sure we have much of that to spare. Then you'll just have to find a balance that works. We're okay for now, but who knows how our needs will change. I see, thanks. You turn to leave, but Olaf places a hand on your shoulder. We should talk, Rook, at some point. Talk about what? You. Not you, the leader, but the man I knew from Saga. She gives you a faint smile and returns to your fletching. And it seems to me, and I just guessed though, that something changed as well, because before these were fixed, you couldn't affect them at all. And... oh, that is new. The red scarring shows that some of your units are injured, use the rest 10 to pass time and heal. Full recovery may take several days, that's okay. The skull is new, that's why I thought there's something new. But I want to say, this was always a fixed amount, but with what she said, it seems like you can influence that. And I have probably is coming in a little bit later. But for now, let's talk to him. The Val mercenary leader Bolverk and a rather large female fighter are talking to Juno, a member of the Spellweaving Menders Council. Bolverk looks annoyed, nothing unusual. There's no haggling on this, he already accepted the offer in Postcard. Get this one to do it. Get me to do what? If Yuna is surprised by your presence, it doesn't show. She continues to stare straight at the Val. Rook is seeing to the survival of this caravan, something I doubt you care to do. He won't be seeing to anything much longer if he keeps fighting like he did earlier. She has a very attractive face. A very charming person, obviously. Say nothing, still here now. And again, what other tasks are you talking about? I want to know what's going on. Determination will see these people safely to Aberan, but with respect, our discussion stays between us for now. Her look at Bolverk says she expects him to keep it private. Avens needs my help with healing the wounded, but we should leave soon. See Haken at the dock. Harkon, I think it's the name. See Harkon at the dock when you're ready. Juno leaves without another word. Fair and Valka, one of these days, Claw and Fungal, oh, these names are difficult, get thirsty for Spellweaver blood. Claw and Fang? His axes. The large axe heads are polished, the blades sharp, and the cheeks scarred from plenty of use, but it's the grey handles that stand out. They're unlike anything you've seen before. How long are you going to let Yuno tell you what to do? You avoid his goading. Only to Aberang, then it's King Mynor's job. Like he's got the answer to any of this. He'd royally piss himself if he ever saw Dredge. The pigtail fighter laughs. Have we met? I'm Falka, a shield man in charge of keeping the ravens alive. Bolverk gives her a stern look, but she doesn't back down. I already know who you are, chieftain. I heard there's a problem I should know about. Do you have a better idea than Aberan? I heard there's a problem. The Val seems to grow taller and more wild as he takes a step towards you. You stopping to save every fan idiot along the road will get us all killed. Makes more sense to only stop the ships when we need supplies. And get rid of half these useless people too. They're slowing us down. That's not going to happen. Don't tell me what to do with my people. The river dictates our speed on the ship. I will if they don't start pulling their own weight. We are not leaving anyone behind. That's not going to happen, Bolverk. Humans, yes, you're all the same. You think you have it all figured out in your short lives. You've got no faint clue what's going to happen, no more than any of us. Bolverk snorts and turns his attention to a large steel card behind him. His bare cloaked back indicates the conversation is over. And I would assume I'm the one who is injured. So why should we need to take a rest? We could already leave, but I want our guy to be fit. And now it's gone. Good cover on morale. Costs +1 willpower bonus in battle. Maintain sufficient supplies and rest in camp to improve morale. Well, everybody's healthy. Normally there was a way to look at it. But anyhow, let's get going. The wooden planks of the well-used dock creak as you walk across them. Hakon, a warrior recently acknowledged as King of the Vaal, pastes on the dock. Not sure I was made for this, he says as you approach. Commanding in battle is one thing, but deciding how many chicks we need to bring? We've both made harder decisions. I'm just as lost as you are at this. You seem to be handling it just fine. I think I want to be on the good side with them. I'm not looking for praise, Hakon says. I just want to know what we are expecting when this is all over. There's so few Vaal left. How do I keep my people alive? You search for something to say, but he stops you. I'm not looking for an answer from you either. It's something a Vaal King should be able to figure out. Let's sail. Ah, let's sail. There's nothing left to do for us, I think. After lighting the funeral pier, the last villagers find seats on your rickety longships built of scrap wood, scavenged and burst-guard. The ravens find space around a large cart on the black-sailed vessel. Oars slowly move all the boats into the river's current. Well, the story is pretty nice. It's nicely set up. It's a nice continuation of the rounds before. And this is how the game develops. You are traveling with your banner and your followers. And it's also changing. It's not always like that. If you get more guys, it gets longer. If you get less, well, it gets obviously shorter. And at some point there will be an event happening, just like now. So, Aleo looks ill. At least it's not the Brack Sea, he whispers to himself as he steps around the rowers and beggars to speak with you. I'm not sure we were all built for aquatic voyages, he says. And I hear Aberang is quite a distance away. My people could use a few hours rest on solid ground. Well, resting just for some people to be happy? The hopeful looks from others sway you and you signal for the ships to make land. Would you mind telling me what the capital is? Why the capital is our destination? Aleo asks. And I thought I would have a saying in landing at all. Aberang's wall have never been breached. The Valka, you know, says the Menders, there can protect us. The furthest place from the dredge? Oh, it just is. It just is. Now, Hellbro. Oh, not so mean. I think I should be honest to it. The Valka, you know, said, will help us. Menders? The sculptural slump. We were all hoping for something more substantial. You realize Avon and Juno can hear it. I thank you for healing my people, but we are talking about an army of the dredge. The Valkyrie and her apprentice share a smile, but say nothing. Dredge, Alia says almost in awe. Man and Val's storied foe from oh so ever long ago. How nice. But they're real and here. How have they made it so far south? His glance at the Val is met with both anger and shame. The longship rocks gently and the skull grabs a rope to steady himself. If only we had the fabled horse to ride upon, we'd outpace the dredge and be on sound footing. His dramatized misery is almost as amusing as his thanks when he steps back onto land. Morale improved. That's a good thing, because as we've learned, our willpower is higher by that. This is the map of the world. You can explore it by dragging around. Let's explore. Oh, it's actually quite big. We want to get to here, at least for now. I don't think that's the whole route. Well, of course we're here, that makes sense. We have been here. Oh well, information. Bossguard, an aging and senile mess of city that can't remember that wants to sell you something or steal everything you've got. While Ormsdal grew early into an important hub of trade, its twin city Bossguard became the place to buy things nobody else was willing to hawk. It's greatly supported by the potent items harvested in Reinvik and Tistel, and plagued by huge disparities between the extremely rich and the suffering poor. Well, we need to get here, so as Strom led some of the first men east, Ormsdal was one of the most important places they settled. Nestled in the crook, where the Ormsra River splits, if Bossguard and Ormsdal were twins, Ormsdal would be the righteous brother trying to keep his evil twin from hurting anyone else. And Aberang. From a humble begins to eventual seat of power for the king, Aberang is the most populated and contested city throughout the human lands. Its towering obsidian walls have been pulled from the depths by the weaving power of the Menders. As each new generation of residents builds another rings of walls, the city continues to grow larger, more indulgent, and more dangerous. Well, the world map is covered with locations. Well, I don't think we need the information right now, do we? Oh, there. We can even click on these little woods. But how do we continue? Oh, well, that might be one option. Very nice. As for the world, time passes, yes. And as mentioned before, this is passing by, and the wild drops, I mentioned that as well. And the numbers of days, as explained. We can also make camp, which we are going to do right away, because this was already it for this round. And I hope you like this game as much as I do already. I love the previous one, and I really am intrigued with this one as well. So guys, I hope to see you the next round again.